The early 19th century, a time of transformation and turbulence. A young nation, the United States, wrestled with growing pains, striving to find its identity amidst the echoes of revolution and the promise of expansion. In its heart, two figures emerged as symbols of this era's conflicting ideals. Andrew Jackson, a rising star known for his fiery spirit and unwavering loyalty to the burgeoning nation, and Aaron Burr, a brilliant but ambitious politician recently cast down from the pinnacle of power, his reputation tarnished by scandal and controversy. Jackson, a war hero and frontiersman, embodied the spirit of the expanding nation. His exploits in battle and his leadership on the frontier made him a legend in his own time. He was raw, ambitious, a man of action whose stern expression and rugged attire spoke volumes about his character and determination. His reputation, forged in the crucible of battle and honed by the rough justice of the frontier, preceded him wherever he went. He was a man who commanded respect and inspired loyalty. Burr, once a respected figure, vice president to Thomas Jefferson no less, had fallen from grace. His once promising career was now overshadowed by his controversial actions and the whispers of conspiracy. His duel with Alexander Hamilton, a tragic clash of ambition and pride, left a stain on his name and a thirst for redemption burning in his soul. The duel, a moment of high drama, was a turning point that would haunt him forever. Their paths, seemingly disparate, would soon converge in a maelstrom of conspiracy, ambition, and the enduring power of loyalty. The political landscape of the time was rife with intrigue, and both men found themselves drawn into its web. This is a story about the choices men make when ambition whispers in their ear and the enduring strength of loyalty to one's nation. It is a tale of two men, their dreams, their downfalls, and the indomitable spirit that drove them forward, shaping the destiny of a young America. The duel was swift, brutal, and decisive. Hamilton, the architect of America's financial system, lay dead. Burr, his political rival, stood condemned by public opinion. The stain of the duel followed him like a shadow. His political aspirations, once soaring high, were dashed. The vice presidency, his highest achievement, became a bitter reminder of what he had lost. Burr, a man accustomed to the corridors of power, found himself on the fringes, ostracized and adrift. Yet ambition, like a phoenix, can rise from the ashes. Burr, stripped of his former glory, sought a new path, a new stage for his ambitions. The West, untamed and brimming with possibilities, beckoned. There, in the untamed territories beyond the Appalachians, Burr saw an opportunity to carve out a new destiny, to build an empire of his own, and perhaps even to reclaim his lost glory. The American frontier in the early 1800s was a land of opportunity and lawlessness. It was a vast, untamed wilderness where the rules of civilization often did not apply. The promise of new beginnings drew many to its rugged landscapes, but it also attracted those who sought to escape their pasts or pursue their own ambitions without the constraints of established society. It was a magnet for adventurers, dreamers, and those with something to hide. The frontier was a place where one could reinvent oneself, where the past could be left behind, and where the future was limited only by one's imagination and daring. It was here, in the saloons and trading posts of the West, that whispers of Burr's plans began to circulate. These establishments were the social hubs of frontier life, where news and rumors spread like wildfire, and where men of all backgrounds gathered to share stories and hatch schemes. Some spoke of secession, of carving a new nation from the Western territories. The idea of breaking away from the United States and forming an independent country appealed to those who felt marginalized or disillusioned with the government back east. Others whispered of an invasion of Spanish-held Mexico, of a glorious conquest led by Burr himself. The prospect of expanding American territory through military might was tantalizing to many, and Burr's charisma and leadership made the idea seem plausible. The details remained shrouded in secrecy, passed from man to man in hushed tones. The clandestine nature of these discussions only added to their allure, as men speculated about the true extent of Burr's ambitions and the potential rewards of joining his cause. These rumors, carried on the wind across the frontier, eventually reached the ears of Andrew Jackson. Jackson, a man of action and a staunch defender of American interests, was not one to ignore such whispers. Jackson, ever vigilant, listened intently. He was a man who understood the power of information and the importance of staying informed about potential threats to the nation. He knew Burr by reputation, a man of immense talent and ambition, but also a man capable of great ruthlessness. Burr's past actions had shown that he was willing to go to great lengths to achieve his goals, and this made him a figure to be both admired and feared. Intrigued but wary, Jackson watched and waited. He understood that patience was often a key component of strategy, and he was determined to gather as much information as possible before making any moves. He was drawn to Burr's audacity, his vision. The idea of expanding American territory and creating a new nation was undeniably bold, and Jackson could appreciate the ambition behind it. Yet a nagging doubt lingered in the back of his mind. Jackson was a man of principles, and he could not ignore the potential consequences of Burr's plans. Was this ambition or something more sinister? The line between visionary leadership and dangerous ambition was often thin, and Jackson was acutely aware of the risks involved. Was Burr a patriot seeking to expand the nation's borders, or a traitor plotting its downfall? This question weighed heavily on Jackson's mind as he considered his next steps. The fate of the frontier, and perhaps the nation itself, hung in the balance as Jackson pondered the true nature of Burr's intentions. In the heart of the frontier, under a sky vast and indifferent, Burr and Jackson met. The landscape around them was as untamed and full of potential as the ideas they were about to discuss. The air was thick with the promise of change, and the wilderness seemed to echo their unspoken ambitions. Two ambitious men, each a force of nature in his own right, their paths converging in a moment pregnant with possibility. Burr with his sharp intellect and magnetic charm, and Jackson with his rugged determination and unyielding spirit, were drawn together by a shared vision of a new America. Burr, ever the charmer, laid out his vision. He spoke with a fervor that was hard to resist, painting a picture of a nation unshackled from the constraints of the old order. His words were like a spell, weaving a tapestry of hope and ambition that was almost tangible. He spoke of injustices inflicted by the East, of the untapped potential of the West. He described a land ripe for the taking, a place where men of vision could carve out their own destinies. His eyes sparkled with the fire of his convictions, and his voice carried the weight of his dreams. He hinted at a grand scheme, a chance to reshape the destiny of the nation. It was a bold plan, one that required courage and a willingness to defy the established order. Burr's words were filled with the promise of greatness, and he spoke as if the future was already within their grasp. Jackson, captivated by Burr's charisma and tempted by the allure of adventure, listened intently. He was a man who thrived on challenge and conflict, and Burr's vision resonated deeply with him. The idea of breaking free from the constraints of the East and forging a new path in the West was intoxicating. He saw in Burr a kindred spirit, a man who chafed against the constraints of conventional power. They were both rebels at heart, men who refused to be bound by the limitations of their time. Their meeting was not just a convergence of ideas, but a melding of souls driven by a shared desire for change. Their meeting stretched late into the night, fueled by whiskey and shared ambition. The hours slipped away as they delved deeper into their plans, their conversation growing more animated and their bond stronger with each passing moment. The flickering candlelight cast a warm glow on their faces, highlighting the intensity of their discussion. As the fire crackled, casting long shadows on the walls, they debated the future of the nation and the role they would play in shaping it. The room was filled with the sound of their voices, rising and falling like the flames in the hearth. Each word was a spark, igniting new ideas and possibilities. It was a moment of intoxicating possibility, a meeting of minds that could have reshaped the course of American history. The air was electric with potential, and for a brief moment it seemed as if anything was possible. They were on the brink of something monumental, a turning point that could alter the destiny of the nation. However, even in the heat of the moment, a seed of doubt had been planted in Jackson's mind, a seed that would soon blossom into full-blown suspicion. Despite the allure of Burr's vision, Jackson couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the plan than met the eye. This doubt would linger, casting a shadow over their grand ambitions and ultimately shaping the course of their destinies.